Okay, so today we're here with Strongman national competitor and newest Bioforce team member, Pat Castelli. And Pat is, like I said, he's a Strongman competitor, and really the deadlift itself is one of your best exercises, right?
Oh, definitely.
Why don't you tell them some of your deadlift stats?
Competing at 175 pounds, deadlifting around the 600-pound range raw. I've hit over 10 reps at 450 in under 60 seconds, all raw. So just any kind of raw deadlift on an axle, a standard bar, car deadlift, just all about it.
So we're working on getting him up to 700 so we can have a quad body weight deadlift. That's the goal.
That'll be a real nice treat,
yeah.
I think.
So today we brought Pat in and wanted to kind of show you an exercise that I really like using, and it's a good way of deadlifting for athletes because, as you know, if you're an athlete or a coach, really one of the most important things in most athletic movements is explosive and strong hips. You've got to be able to drive the hips through for a lot of different movements, from the takedown to coming off the line in football, to a variety of different exercises and activities. So the reverse band deadlift that you can see here is going to take the bar and add some bands to it to help basically drive the weight off the ground and accelerate through. It also places more of the weight at the top of the movement where you're naturally strongest and have the greatest leverage as well. So we're going to let Patrick demonstrate a couple reps here and then kind of talk about how he's using this to get his deadlift even higher. Okay, go ahead. Good. So as you can see, Pat's taking a tremendous amount of weight. This is what, 500 and something?
Yeah, just about 500 pounds.
500 something at probably at the top. I mean, maybe a little less than that, but it's a significant amount of weight, and he's able to move it explosively, drive his hips all the way through, and work on that speed off the ground because of the assistance of the bands. It's a different exercise. It's also less central nervous system demanding in a way than deadlifting purely off the ground, so I think you can do it a bit more frequently than you would do a standard deadlift?
Yeah, a little more frequently, just because the tension that you get off the bands to get it going off the floor, you can put more weight on there and it's a little less taxing. It's just a great way to work on that top end and that hip lockout. So. Yeah,
exactly, especially for wrestling, for combat athletes, for the guards, for all these things, they're so hip dominant that need that hip extension and need strength throughout the hips, the low back, even the shoulders and back itself obviously are important to deadlift properly. So it's a good exercise you can throw in there. I like to use it for a change of pace. You can rotate in there 3 to 4 weeks at a time. I mean, how do you use this exercise to get your deadlift up?
I use it a lot. I was struggling to lock out a 600 deadlift, and it just seemed like the top end was always what failed me. And I got tired of doing rack pulls because it felt like an unnatural position that I would put myself at a better advantage than I'd actually be in a regular deadlift. And then a friend of mine recommended me this and worked on it with Joel, and it's a much more natural movement pattern, and you can really load up that top end, so it really broke that plateau.
Yeah, exactly. And as you'll see, you come off the ground nice and smooth, and you really explode and drive the hips all the way through, and you're working on the entire range of motion in deadlift, like you said, rather than a rack pull where you're really just kind of artificially starting from an unnatural position where you're probably not going to be in. You're able to drive the hips from the ground all the way up, or drive the bar from the ground all the way up, drive the hips through the same way you would as a normal deadlift. You're just getting the benefit of adding the bands in there. So just for fun, let's have Patrick do a couple more reps.
Sure.
And pay attention again to the speed, how he progresses his hips from the bottom position up and through. Obviously, he keeps everything nice and flat, keeps his eyes where they need to be. Nice. So again, this is a great way to change things up. It's a good arsenal, good exercise to add your arsenal of deadlifting varieties. I like to do it, a few weeks at a time. Once or twice a week is plenty, and typically, anywhere from 2 to 5 reps. And I guarantee you'll put some weight in your deadlift, and you'll get faster, more explosive hips.
Absolutely.
See you again in next week's performance tip. Most coaches and athletes really don't understand what conditioning is or how to develop effective training programs to include it. And the truth is that conditioning is often the difference between winning and losing.
Conditioning seems to be given short shrift, and nobody speaks about it with confidence like he does.
I created the Bioforce Certified Conditioning Coach course to solve all these problems and more.
I've done tons of other certifications. Nobody does this.
I've put over 15 years of work and understanding to give coaches a step-by-step guide to maximize performance for each and every athlete.
I'm taking a lot with me, so I couldn't write fast enough.
And it was great. It really fit in well with my schedule.
Joel's information is so valuable.
With my clients, the results that I got were amazing. I never thought possible.
This is the key to winning. This is the key to success.
Just beyond my imagination.